Oh boy, this could well be one of the biggest weeks we will see in 2026. It's a massive week of eclipse activation triggers, my friends. Let's see what's in store. I'm Kesenya. I'm going to tell you how the stars are going to affect your life personally this week. Welcome to the Astro News and Weather Report for the third week of March 2026. This is tropical Vedic astrology, not sidereal. Look it up if you need to. And yes, I am a real person, not AI. We will cover in this video this week's Astro News and then your personal forecast by sign. Use the timestamps to go to where you need to go to in this video. And if it resonates, please help my channel to grow by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let's dig in. Well, this week's energy focus, my friends, is all about the eclipse activation. But there's a few other things that are occurring this week as well that we want to explore. Let's take a moment or two to look at those. On the 15th of March, Mercury will conjoin with Mars at 10 degrees of Pisces. If you have anything around that area of the chart, you will feel this more so than other people who do not. Your brain might be going bonkers under this energy. This is an energy for heightened stimulation of our thinking, our speaking, our learning, and mental processing. Things speed up in our mind at this time. Unfortunately, it also has a reputation of being the bringer of aggressive and argumentative and rude verbal interactions as well. Our nervous tension can be somewhat edgy because of this combination. We might get snappy. We might put our foot in our mouths. That's certainly not unheard of under this energy. Remember, on this day, the 15th of March, we have our free will and we can use it. We can choose our words for good or for ill. Why not channel your words, my friends, into verbally fighting for justice or standing up communicatively for those who are unable to, preferably not as a keyboard warrior, but in real life. On the 16th of March, the full moon lunar eclipse that occurred on the 3rd of March season will come to an end. So this activation period that runs through the days surrounding the 3rd of March lunar eclipse is over. Whatever the divine has brought to your attention during this time, whatever key events have been activated, I'm not talking on a global scale. We all know that that eclipse triggered many global actions, but I'm talking about your life personally. Whatever key events have been activated, whatever issues have come into focus as a result of that eclipse, the calling card has arrived. And we're going to be spending the next year dealing with the outflow of those issues that the eclipse instigated in your life. The good news is we won't have another total eclipse until New Year's Eve 2028. So we've got all this time to deal with the outflow of that eclipse on the 3rd of March. On the 17th of March, we will enter into the Kal-Sarp Yoga for 2026. Now, Kal-Sarp Yoga is a planetary configuration in Vedic astrology where all 7 major traditional planets will be positioned between Rahu and Ketu, the lunar nodes. That happens either in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. This yoga will be in action every 2 weeks. Every alternate 2 weeks, the moon will be on the other side, roughly 2 weeks. It can be a bit less, of course. But the moon will be on the other side of the nodes to where the planets are. So it pays to keep abreast of where the moon is and whether that Kal-Sarp yoga is under activation for the next couple of months or not. Now, this yoga is believed to create imbalance, instability, and challenges in life. It affects areas like our health, our wealth, our career, our relationships, depending on where this Kal-Sarp yoga is forming for us personally in our chart by transit. So some negative effects that we want to be aware of at this time is that this yoga may cause chronic stress. It could cause delays in major life events like marriage or career events, that sort of thing. It can also cause legal issues and a sense of being trapped or under constant pressure. Hello, are we not feeling that on a global level right now before this even begins? So be aware that this is the negative effects of the Kal-Sarp yoga. It's a very spiritual kind of energy, as anything to do with the nodes can be. Wherever the South Node is involved in something, there is a great element of spirituality being injected into the experience. And this is where the positive potential of the Kalsap Yoga can come to bear. It can indicate that this will be a time of intense focus, a need for resilience and the development of resilience in our soul, but also there is massive potential for spiritual awakening to come from this time. And we are already so awake as a society on earth ever since the early 2020s. Society has been waking up massively. This is going to be another period of awakening. Often through these challenges, often through this activation of the Kalsap Yoga and its difficulties comes the awakening. The scales fall from our eyes and we see the truth. So expect great strides forward in that regard for humanity. Then on the 17th of March, Mars is going to activate the recent 3rd of March eclipse. And that is going to happen when it crosses the 12th degree of Pisces. It's going to oppose the 12th degree of Virgo, which was the eclipse activation at that time. Now, we're going to talk about the effects of that Mars activation in the Astro News in a moment. So stick with me, but this is what our all signs breakdown is really going to focus in on this week in this week's video. On the 19th of March, Venus will square Jupiter at 15 degrees. Venus will be at 15 degrees of Aries and Jupiter will be at 15 degrees of Cancer. These two planets give us a lighter feeling hard aspect than malefics do when they make a square to one another. So it's actually a great transit for personal good times and having fun. It's a good energy for generosity and optimism. But as with all Jupiter hard aspects, we need to be very wary of overdoing it, of going too far, of taking things to the nth degree and then suffering for it. Venus rules pleasures and luxuries, fashion and food, and Jupiter in hard aspect like this that we're going to be experiencing on the 19th can cause us to have extravagance in these areas, too much of a good thing. So make sure you know what's in your bank account before you go spending up. Watch your waistline and keep these things in mind as this energy of this week unfolds. Socializing and friendship is on the cards. So relax and enjoy the beautiful connections in your life on this day. Also on the 19th of March, we have a new moon in Pisces at 28 degrees and 27 minutes. This will also be creating eclipse activation as it is opposing the Virgo 28 degree eclipse that occurred on the 21st of September. So we're really in eclipse activation week this week. What else about this new moon eclipse this new moon effect in Pisces can I tell you? Well, the moon will be in mutual reception with the ruler Jupiter. The sun will be in mutual reception by exaltation with Venus. And of course, we have a mutual reception between modern ruler Neptune and Mars. Neptune is in Aries, Mars is in Pisces. They're in one another's signs. So lots of mutual receptions going on with this particular new moon. Nothing is out of bounds, thank God, with this new moon. We are seeing this occur in lunar mansion number 26, and that has certain impacts that we may want to notice. It is in conjunction out of sign with both Neptune and Saturn, so very important, seeing as this is one of the major catalysts for what is happening in 2026. And also 28 degrees and 27 minutes is within orb of the dangerous fixed star sheet. You're going to want to check that out with me and how it will apply to all signs through my Patreon family. Remember, it's an activation of the eclipse that took place on the 21st of September, 2025, and we're still under the influence of that eclipse, which is all about significant endings and new beginnings. We can expect events that were set in motion at that time to gain increased traction and influence because of this new moon activating that point. So as I said, join my Patreon family if you would like to know more about this event and how it applies to your sign personally. Then on the 21st to the 23rd of March, we have the luckiest days of the year arriving. The moon is exalted and the sun is exalted, and also Jupiter is exalted. We have fabulous planets exalted at this time. This is a shining ray of hope for us all. The moon is exalted in Taurus. The sun is exalted in Aries. And as I said, Jupiter exalted in Cancer. So this brings empowerment, optimism, and blessing that are increased on these couple of days. Observe where you feel luckiest at this time, and don't forget to give thanks, give gratitude to the universe for all the good things that are in your life right now. On March the 21st, the sun will move into Aries. This is equinox, spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, the lovely autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere. If you're interested in joining my newsletter, I'm going to be talking about the importance of this event for our astrological new year in my newsletter. Not only that, but my husband David and I will be also exploring the importance of this equinox in our regular series that we are now implementing on this channel right here at Guiding Star Astrology. Make sure you're subscribed and that you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our important astrological deep dives that David and I will be doing for you here. We started last week. It was very well received. Thank you, everybody, for your beautiful, beautiful comments. This 2026 Aries ingress, it's less of a gentle spring awakening and more of a foundational eruption. Be warned. With Saturn-Neptune conjunction sitting right nearby and having activated this equinox degree, the world is being asked to build a new reality out of the mists of Pisces. So as we've already seen, it's a year of great change, but it's also a year of manifesting the impossible, but only through our grit and our discipline and a willingness to burn away the structures that no longer hold weight. So subscribe to my newsletter. Join David and I this week as we discuss this event. It's one of the key hallmarks of 2026, this astrological new year on the 21st of March. Also on the 21st of March, Mercury turns direct at 8 degrees of Pisces. Everything's happening in Pisces this month. The key to Mercury retrograde periods are the idea of revamp, renew, research, reconnect, and resolve. So now that Mercury is at his most powerful and direct, it's time to get going. Get cracking with our lives again. Have you researched your next big step in life? Then it's time to make a move. Have you resolved conflicts and tensions that were present in your life over the last 3 weeks? Then you should celebrate things feeling lighter now. Have you reviewed decisions in your life that needed some second thoughts? Move forward with a solid new direction now. What are you waiting for? Mercury is no longer retrograde from the 21st of March onwards. Thank God. Now, also, our final energy for this week, on the 21st of March, Mars has moved to the activation point for the eclipse that occurred on the 7th of September, 2025. So 3 eclipses being activated by transits and lunations this week. It's a huge week. So this eclipse occurred at 15 degrees of Pisces. It was also a full moon eclipse. So we've got the March 3rd full moon eclipse that's being activated by Mars crossing 12 degrees of Pisces. And then we've got the 21st of March, another eclipse being activated. This is the eclipse from the 7th of September last year when Mars crosses 15 degrees of Pisces. So let's have a little bit of a brief look at how Mars activates eclipse points. And he is one of the most potent activators. The Sun and Mars are the big guns when it comes to eclipse activation energy. Now, some might argue, and maybe my husband and perhaps I would be one of those who would argue that the reason the Sun and Mars are the big guns when it comes to eclipse activation is that the Sun and Mars are in a binary companion model in the solar system. Check out the work of the Tycho skies. Tycho Brahe developed a lot of this foundational evidence for the Sun and Mars being in a binary companionship model. So check out the work of Tychos. I might put a link actually in the description below just to help everybody find the amazing, incredible work of Simon and Patrick who have created this Tychos model. But that's why I believe Mars and the Sun are the key activating factors when it comes to eclipses. It's just a well-known fact that Mars and the Sun really stir things up. Mars acts as a catalyst that activates the themes of a past, either a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, especially when it conjuncts or opposes the eclipse degree. And this usually happens within a 3-degree orb. we're in it all week, my friends. This is a transit. The transit of Mars is associated with high energy, sudden or even violent actions such as accidents, conflicts, major shifts in life. And this is due to Mars's high energy nature. Now, in a personal astrology chart, especially if you have key points around 12 degrees of Pisces Virgo or 15 degrees of Pisces Virgo, you will notice this more predominantly in your life this week. And this might come through as sudden realizations or a strong urge to act on changes that were initiated during either of those original eclipses. We might have increased motivation to move forward in areas that relate to independence, freedom, or personal identity. We might have sort of a clearer mind and be making more decisive actions rather than having the emotional outbursts we usually attribute to a lunation like a full moon. So we're now in a period where we're like much more about I'm going for it. So this can involve boundary setting, career changes, or ending outdated commitments that occur this week. Our all signs forecast will be revisiting the impacts of these two eclipses and how they might be playing out through this activation for us all. In short, the full moon eclipse with the south node that occurred in Virgo on the 17th of March, 12 degrees of Virgo, will see the activation of a big releasing, a big letting go of something in your life. You will be deciding what you want to keep and what you want to say goodbye to. It's a time of karmic clearing and karmic cleansing. What finishes during this week will remain finished and it won't come back again. The 7th of September 2025 eclipse occurred at 15 degrees of Pisces. It was also a full moon, which heralds endings, but it was with the North Node, and this speaks to endings that bring in new beginnings. And this is happening when Mars crosses this point on the 21st of March. So it's a big energy of endings and new beginnings that will emerge this week with that activation. Health issues could surface. Paperwork and communications might take a center stage in your life. News that feels fated might arrive in your life this week, and worries about our loved ones might actually increase. So these are the effects of the eclipses and what might be being activated. We'll be exploring this for all signs. I want to just mention very briefly before we do jump into our all signs breakdown that bookings for April readings are now open with me. They will be $50 off the usual price. This is my offering to the world right now because I want people to have affordable readings for troubled times. If you need support, I want you to know I'm here for you, able to look at your astrology chart and see what the energy is doing in your life. Friends, before we enter into the all signs forecast, if you will allow me, I want to let you all know that this is my last astro weather report coming to you from Australia. Yes, it is a crazy time to be moving anywhere in the world, not least of which to be moving to the USA. However, my husband and I believe that the ancient Taoist principle that you should always do what is right, regardless of the consequences, is very true. And we like to adhere to that principle wherever we can. Therefore, we believe that loving and supporting family is a priority for both David and I. Despite the world seemingly falling apart around us in the West right now, this is still the priority that we feel is what we need to adhere to, despite what the consequences might be. In truth, Australia is actually being eaten up by the same parasites that have been devouring the USA since the coup in 1963. Only Australia fell under the same underhanded coup in 1975, a little bit later. Neither country has been the same since. Personally, I've been deeply traumatized by the horrific lockdowns that took place in the state in which I live in the early 2020s. The economic destruction, the deception, the blatant corruption and sheer evil and greed, the loss of friends, the neighbor against neighbor, family against family, the decimation of my children's childhood that we were subjected to in this country in the early 2020s. I'm personally thankful for a fresh start for my children and for myself. My children will remain here, but they are having a fresh start, essentially, as well. Now, I can hear many people out there saying and probably commenting on my comment section that what happened in Australia was nothing compared to the communism Europe was subjected to for so many years. And I'm sure that is true, but that does not negate the traumatizing effects that were dished out upon particularly Victorians in Australia. Anyone who says otherwise, anyone who says that this was not a traumatizing period, these 3 years where we were locked down in our homes, anyone who says that it wasn't that bad, I will suspicion that you belong to the group of people who are responsible for this evil, or that you didn't actually live through the traumatization that occurred and the now destruction of the economy in this state. We are absolutely screwed in Victoria. It has been really difficult to observe this completely unnecessary demise of the country and the culture that I love. And I'll just say that the same parasites that drove communism are also driving the destruction of the West right now. But only those with awakened eyes will be able to see this truth. You know, Australia carries so much trauma, my friends. We really do. We have so much karmic trauma in Australia, from the suffering of our Indigenous peoples to the generational trauma caused by Winston Churchill last century. And for my family, the genetically imprinted trauma of being rounded up for no good reason, transported as convicts to the end of the earth, away from family and everything that they knew as home, to be part of a colonization project for the evil empire. Or, as some of my ancestors were also done, treated as female fodder for a sex-starved nation of men by being transported as a female convict early on against their will. There is so much trauma karma here in Australia, like many nations have on earth. And this trauma karma needs to be healed. It needs to be healed everywhere. It's my prayer that all people who are citizens of this beautiful, incredible, gorgeous country of Australia rise up and throw off their oppressors. And this needs to happen now that it is finally being revealed who the oppressors of all free men are. And once we are free in the new age that is being born through struggle right now, that healing can then come to all people that legally call this country their home. Ned Kelly knew all about this. I will always be an Australian, proud of our heritage, proud of our unique culture that has developed despite the propagandizing attempts to destroy it. I am proud of Hans Hyson and Albert Namatjira. I am proud of Paul Hogan and In Excess. I am proud of Gough Whitlam and Senator Jared Rennick. Proud of the beauty of this land and the general goodness and easygoing kindness of its people. If you will allow me, my friends, I would like to do this as my final video done in Australia. I would like to speak a tribute of gratitude for Australia, the Australia I know and love and adore. All children of the 70s and before the 70s will know this hymn to our country very well. And all children of Australia today should know this, but probably don't. I'm going to start at the second stanza. You'll know this. I love a sunburnt country, a land of sweeping plains, of rugged mountain ranges, of droughts and flooding rains. I love her far horizons. I love her jewel sea, her beauty and her terror, the wide brown land for me. A stark white ringbark forest, all tragic to the moon. The sapphire misted mountains, the hot gold hush of noon. Green tangle of the brushes where lithe lernias coil, and orchids deck the treetops, and ferns the warm, dark soil. Core of my heart, my country, her pitiless blue sky, when sick at heart around us we see the cattle die. But then the grey clouds gather, and we can bless again the drumming of an army, the steady, soaking rain. Core of my heart, my country, land of rainbow gold. For flood and fire and famine, she pays us back threefold. Over the thirsty paddocks, watch After many days, the filmy veil of greenness that thickens as we gaze. An opal-hearted country, a willful, lavish land. Oh, you who have not loved her, you will not understand. Though earth holds many splendors, wherever I may die, I know to what brown country my homing thoughts will fly. I'd like to thank Dorothea McCullough for writing the most beautiful poem many, many years ago. I'd like to thank Australia for all that it has been and all that the divine force is willing it will be again if we can shake off the oppressive energy that is trying to devour us right now. I will always belong to the Australian land and sea and sky, no matter where I live, and no matter what evil empires of Mordor might grip the Australian people and all people of the West. So let's move into our all signs breakdown now as we look at Eclipse Activation Week, third week of March 2026. Well, my beautiful Pisces friends, here we are with this week's Astro Weather Report for your sign, and we are looking at the eclipse activation that Mars is bringing us this week. Now, this is activating the degrees of the 12th and 17th degree of the Pisces Virgo axis. So if you have planets around this area, you will feel this all the more. But generally, we might all be noticing this in some sort of a big way. For Pisces people, there's going to be a strong feeling of letting go that might happen. Now, this could be a letting go of something or an ending that now culminates regarding something to do with collaboration or other people. Now, I actually have my rising degree very near to this point. And as such, what I've been noticing is that what I'm letting go of is a 6-year project creating the Royal Stars Academy. What I mean by letting go of is it's ending. I finished it. It's all done. And for me, that has everything to do with this axis of self and other people. It's me, my offering, giving it to the world, giving it to other people, Virgo axis energy, that is now finished. So now people can do the entirety of the Royal Stars Academy from woe to go as fast as they want to do it. You can move through all 4 levels at the speed of light if you would like to. But that is what is ending for me. A major project that's been in my life for 6 years has now reached its culmination. To me, this is what Mars is activating, the end of that process, the end of that offering that I have given to other people. Me, Pisces, other people, Virgo. What are you letting go of now? What things are you releasing? It could be a relationship. It could be a project. It could be an offering that you're giving to the world. It could be a business association or a business relationship that's coming to an end now. It could be some kind of collaborative effort that is now reaching its conclusion. But for Pisces people, I feel that it's going to be very personal. You will be really facing a time of karmic clearing and cleansing in your life. The karma of something in your life, I feel, has actually reached the final straw, the end of the road. And I'm going to give you another example as I speak. This week will herald for me my youngest daughter turning 18, becoming an official adult in Australian law. And therefore, my role as her guardian and protector ceases this week. Talk about a karmic ending that this is all heralding in my life. It doesn't mean I'm not her mother. It doesn't mean I don't love and care for her and will not continue to provide for her, but she is her own independent person now. So definitely my karma, and I have a lot of karma for child raising in my astrology chart, Saturn in the 5th house. My karma with this period of my life is finished. It's done. This is huge. It's actually massive. What about you, my Pisces friends? What karmic circumstances in your life are now being cleared, released, cleansed, finalized, and finished. This week, it's so powerful. It's such a powerful ending. And obviously, what finishes now, it's finished for good. I'm not going to go back and recreate the Royal Stars Academy. It is complete and full and done. Full moon eclipse that's being activated here. The full moon eclipse from March the 3rd. My daughter, she's not going to get any younger. She is 18. There's no going back from that. So what is finishing now will remain finished and not come back. Also, this week, Pisces, on the 21st of March, the 7th of September 2025 eclipse will be activated. Now, this is a different kind of full moon because it was with the North Node. So what it means for Pisces people is that there is a big energy of endings and new beginnings with self that is happening now. A new self-esteem that you'll step into. A new path through life might emerge now that there's been an ending that's closing off. Now you're emerging into a new path through life. A new mechanism for happiness might be unveiled to you this week. A new source of well-being might come into your life, Pisces. A new diet or exercise routine, a new way to be happy, a new, like in Vedic astrology, the first house is connected to general prosperity. A new mechanism for achieving general prosperity might be unfolding for you. So I'm excited for my Pisces friends. It's a real week of endings and new beginnings. Many Pisces people might be starting a new project. One project ends, a new project begins. One relationship finishes, a new relationship begins. One business partnership ends, a new business partnership emerges. So I feel that this, for many Pisces people, is going to bring about some really empowered changes. Because the first house is about our self-identity, our personal brand, how we identify ourselves in the world. And I think that your personal identity this week, Pisces, is ending in some rather dramatic way, so that a new identity or a new brand, the me or the I in the world, is about to be reformed and reborn for you this week. So it may indicate success, it may indicate a period of popularity, but more than anything, I feel that you are moving into a new identity structure. Maybe you've always identified yourself as a creative person, and now something's going to happen this week and you'll identify yourself as a professional person. So there's a shift of energy, and this change is coming about by the energizing that Mars brings to these eclipse points. So the first impression we give, the identity we have, the mask we wear is about to change significantly this week, my Pisces friends, and you'll probably already have a bit of an idea of what that's going to look like in your life. Friends, I want you to know that bookings for April readings are now open at my website. There is currently $50 off a reading with me, off the usual price. This is my offering to you now. I want my readings to be affordable to people in these troubling times that we're in. If you need support, I want you to know I'm right here for you. Moving along, we're going to be looking now at Aries rising, sun or moon people. For Aries people, this activation week is going to be felt most pronounced in the 12th house area of their life, because that is Pisces, where we are having Mars transit the eclipse degree. Let's start with the effects of Mars transiting the 12th degree of Pisces on the 17th of March. This will activate the recent March 3rd full moon eclipse. And this is going to be where you'll be letting things go. Big letting go, big ending. What finishes now will not come back. And this could be quite good for some Aries people, because the 12th house has to do in Vedic astrology with debts and expenses. Letting go of a debt, letting go of an expense in your life. What could be better? Fantastic. Mars may bring about you that sort of liberation. It is also a house of liberation, a moksha house. So whatever ends now is likely to be being released with a bit of relief, a bit of a, Ah, thank God, that's over. That's finished. That's done. We can breathe out now. The 12th house is a very karmic house. It has to do with our carried over past life or maybe early this life behaviors and patterns, our self-sabotaging, our insecurities. And so it's very much a week where this energy of insecurity or self-destructive behaviors is going to be cleared and cleansed. No more. Relief in this part of your life. You may be changing your thinking or changing your behavior or clearing away the old recognized patterns that you have always bought into and that you now see for what they are, Aries people. So I do feel for many Aries people that your ancestors on the other side, the angels and the higher beings, are going to be very much drawing near to Aries people to help Aries people rid themselves of unwanted karma and karma that is holding you back from success in life. So this is an exciting energy of releasing and letting go that Mars will be activating for you this week. But on the 21st of March, Mars will be activating the 7th of September 2025 eclipse when it crosses 15 degrees of Pisces. And this will bring a big ending and new beginning in a 12th house area as well. So I feel many of you Aries people are about to awaken in some way spiritually, about to get a real epiphany, an aha moment, sort of the blinders fall from your eyes and you realize something about life, about your journey, about the way your subconscious impacts you. You are about to be liberated so that you can step into a new state of being. And it's going to be quite profound, Aries friends. Now, I would suggest that this week might be a little bit more difficult for Aries people to sleep and rest. It's a very restless energy this week. In fact, you might have been having trouble sleeping already. I would just encourage you to prepare for that eventuality by having some type of mechanisms up your sleeve, like perhaps, some sort of a, sleep meditation that you could listen to if you wake up in the middle of the night and can't get to sleep, or perhaps put your phone out of your bedroom so that you have less EMFs to deal with as you try to sleep this week perhaps. But have some mechanisms at hand because it's likely to be a week where sleep is heavily disrupted for our beautiful Aries friends. You will also probably receive some kind of prophecies in your dreams this week. Your dreams are likely to be very active because of this high Mars activation. In fact, many of you Aries people might be fighting wars, Mars energy, in your sleep. Fighting to win over old karmic behaviors, old mindsets that hold you back. This could be happening while you sleep. So is it any wonder your sleep can be restless, or you might wake up feeling exhausted, like you need to have another sleep to recover from the one you just had? There is a lot of endings and conclusions happening this week so that new beginnings can emerge, my beautiful Aries friends. Allow yourself to rest as much as you need to. And by that I mean maybe take some time out, visit and spend time in nature or by the beach, or have a relaxing, lazy afternoon. Take it easy where you can, because there's so much that you may not even see in the physical reality around you, but is actually happening on a deep spiritual level in your life that is changing everything and redirecting your life in such a big way. The soul and the divine self within you, my Aries friends, may need to rest and just retreat for a bit. And I encourage you, if you have the opportunity, do so this week to support yourself in every possible way. Aries, I also want to let you know that these are troubling times we're living through, and my offering to you is $50 off my usual reading price. If you need support, I'm here for you right now. I want to give affordable readings for these troubled times. And so the bookings for April for my booking page are now open if you would like to have a reading with me. Taurus rising, sun and moon people. Well, all this eclipse activation that's occurring in Pisces this week will be impacting your 11th house, Taurus. How might this affect you? Well, first off, on the 17th of March, Mars will activate the March 3rd full moon eclipse by crossing 12 degrees of Pisces. And this will see a massive energy of letting go. It's about releasing, because this eclipse was all connected to the South Node. So I feel that in the 11th house, there may be some endings to relationships or social situations that were not fulfilling in your life. They are concluding now and they will not return. What ends socially or what ends in terms of friendship will be done and dusted for good. I feel that there is not only endings to relationships with friends or groups or communal circumstances like organizations or clubs that you might have been involved with, but there may be some sort of ending regarding an activation, yes, but a contribution to the world that you may have been making. Let's say that you've had a role in society where you have been contributing to the well-being of society in some way for maybe years, could have been 10 years, 20 years. This eclipse activation energy might see you calling it a day, saying, there's nothing that I feel I can offer any longer to this role, this leadership role, this position. It also applies to dreams and ambitions as well, your major goals, your desires for life. You might be letting go of a desire that you once had, Taurus, or a dream that you once had, or a major goal that you once had. This is a clearing out of what no longer serves you in terms of what you aspired towards for your life. The 11th house is actually in my mind, one of the best houses in the horoscope. It's the house of great gains that come from the achievement of our dreams and our goals and our ambitions. And I feel that either you will be letting go of those dreams and goals and ambitions because they've manifested into reality for you. They no longer need to be dreamed of or aspired towards because they're now reality, or you're letting them go because you realize they don't align with your soul anymore and you have a different goal or dream or aspiration that you want to see manifested. So you're changing the direction of your goals and dreams and aspirations and letting go of the old ones that no longer work. You're clearing that energy. This is very, very important week, not only because of this activation, but the activation that will also occur on the 21st of March, when Mars activates the 15th degree of Pisces, which was the September 7th eclipse 2025. This is also an energy of endings, but it's endings so that new things will step in. So after the 21st of March, you are likely to see new dreams and goals, new wishes and ambitions start to bubble up inside of you. You'll be taking action around maybe a dream that's been sitting in your heart since September last year. And you'll be able to really start instigating efforts towards those dreams and those goals, whatever they may have been. It could be a dream or a goal regarding some sort of career work or regarding friendships or networking, social circles. It could be a goal around, how you would like humanity to evolve in general and what you can do to contribute to that. It can have to do with any wish that you've got, any wish upon a star. This is an energy of new beginnings emerging on the 21st of March and taking action towards the achievement of those wishes and goals and dreams. You might also find that new friendships come into your life after the 21st of March, new mentors arrive, new social groups emerge that maybe you had not even realized were available to you. I'll give you an example. A lot of people are members of my Guiding Star Astrology Patreon group. And it's wonderful to have them as members there, but many don't seem to realize that we actually have a very active chat group for our Guiding Star members that allows us to interact with one another, to share what we're going through with all of these energies right now, to share charts, to talk about the impact of world events and how we see them playing out astrologically. It's an amazing network that not everybody who's part of the Guiding Star family has joined in on. So that's an example of a network that's maybe sitting right on many people's doorstep that they haven't chosen to activate. Well, along comes the 21st of March. Mars crosses this point. For Taurus rising people, you might decide to step in and be part of that community group on the internet. It's on Telegram, actually, and available to all my Patreon members. So that's one example, but it could be something else. Maybe you've had a fascination with death in a horoscope, and you're really into looking at death in a horoscope. It is a fascinating topic, absolutely brilliant topic. I cover that in the Royal Stars Academy. But did you know there are many fabulous Facebook groups that discuss on a regular basis death in a horoscope? There is a circle, a network that maybe you weren't aware of that you might like to participate in, and maybe that sort of thing becomes revealed to you around the 21st of March, a new way to connect with other like-minded people and groups of people all over the world. These things may come into your life around the 21st of March. I would also suggest that for many Taurus people, there might be new beginnings occurring in the life of stepchildren or children-in-law, or also your mother's life might be having a brand new beginning. Why? Because this is the 8th house from the 4th. It indicates big life turns around for mothers and mother figures in your life. So there could be some sort of ending occurring of a very significant nature in the life of a mother, so that they can emerge into a brand new beginning. That can also be happening. But this is also the house of our ultimate healing, because it's the 6th house from the 6th. So with this eclipse energy being activated this week, Taurus, this could bring to light many health issues that you have, as well as the knowledge and the capacity to heal those health issues and concerns. So the revelation can be present, but also the activation and energy towards healing is likely to take place as well, because this is the 6th house from the 6th. So that's what I'm feeling into for our beautiful Taurus friends. The bookings with me are now available for readings in April, my friends, and I'm offering currently $50 off my usual price for readings, because these are troubled times and I want to support people right now. If you need support, I'm here for you. Head over to my website and get a reading with me for $50 off the usual price. Gemini rising, sun and moon people, what a big week it's going to be for you, Gemini, my fellow mutable energies. Because in Pisces, Mars is activating 2 eclipse degrees. It is a huge week. On March the 3rd, we had a full moon eclipse with the South Node in Virgo at 12 degrees. On the 17th of March, Mars will activate this. And this indicates that in terms of 10th house things, there will be a massive energy of letting go for our Gemini people. Some Gemini people might be ending a business or a career, something that they may have invested many years into, but decided to call it a day. There's a big energy of letting go. Some of you might be saying goodbye to a boss in an employment circumstance. Some of you might be saying goodbye to some sort of leadership role that you've had. There is an ending, a conclusion, a time of clearing out of leadership roles where you can offer nothing more. You've gone as far as you can go. You have offered the best of yourself to that role, and now it's time to call it a day. This is also the house of our aims and goals and what we want to do to be successful at in life. What we want to be recognized for and known for is seen through the 10th house. So what you are known for might be actually reaching the end of the road now. And you might be, perhaps thinking about moving in a different direction. What you finish now in terms of what you do for recognition and success will not come back. It will finish And if you're seeing it conclude this week, it will not return. So it's quite an important time. Maybe you've been building a legacy in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you've been writing your memoirs, and that's the legacy that you want to give to your family, or you want to publish them for the world at large. Well, this is an energy that speaks to the end of the writing of those memoirs. You'll finish doing so this week. Whatever legacy you are building, it may come to an end this week. It may come to a conclusion this week. So a legacy might be ending. A project you've been working on might be coming to the end of the road. Something that you consider to be a great achievement in life might be reaching its fulfillment now. It's completion now. That can be different for all of us. What is it for you, my beautiful Gemini friends? This is a big ending of letting go right now. It can also be the end of a course of Dharma. Dharma is what gives our life meaning and purpose, why our soul is even here. And you might be actually finishing some serious karmic Dharma that you came in as a soul to fulfill. This can be the case for many of our Gemini friends, actually. So there is a real, like I said, energy of conclusions and completion. For some Gemini people, they might be walking away from fame this week. Fame is seen through the 10th house. It's when the sun is brightest and highest in the sky, and therefore as above, so below, this house correlates to our reputation and our worldly status and image. So you might be walking away from a position of fame or notoriety or recognition now. This can be a karmic cleansing time. The time is done for that role in society, and maybe you're looking at a different role that's perhaps not so famous or does not have quite so much public identity. On the 21st of March, Mars is going to activate the 7th of September 2025 eclipse degree, which was also a full moon at 15 degrees of Pisces with the North Node. So this also speaks to a culmination, but with Mars transiting here, it's an activation of potential and new beginnings. So know, my friends, that something might end on the 17th of March, but by the 21st of March, you'll be moving into a brand new energy with the 10th house, a new legacy that you're creating, a new something or other that you want to be remembered for, a new leadership role, a new level of fame, or a new fame from a different source, or recognition from a different source. And of course, fame can be at very many varied levels in society. You know, we have those who are famous due to heavy promotion by the powers that be in Hollywood, perhaps not for any particularly notable, characteristics that people become famous just because they've been involved with the wrong people and suddenly they're propelled into fame. Or we could be famous on a local level because maybe we rescue a cat from up a tree. But fame can come in many guises, and this is what we're talking about. Fame begins afresh on the 21st of March, or recognition or reputation begins afresh for many Gemini people on the 21st of March. What inspires you is also seen through the 10th house as well. So there's a big energy of new beginnings with inspiration. Maybe you find a wonderful mentor or authority figure, or somebody that you look up to and respect, that inspires you to greater, bigger, better, wonderful things now. Or it might not be a person, it might be a book or a film or a philosophical concept that inspires you. Something inspires you through the 10th house. You discover it, you move into it, you activate it on the 21st of March. Many Gemini people will be moving into a new career position or a new career dynamic, or getting involved with a new project after the 21st of March to offer the world as part of their, what they're building in terms of the life that they're living. Some of you might get a new boss arrive in your life, or encounter some sort of new authority that you have to deal with after the 21st of March. This is also the parental axis. I will just conclude by saying, Gemini, this is the parental axis. And so check in on your folks, because this is an energy, a big energy of clearing out and endings this week so that new beginnings can start. And it may be occurring in the life of your parents. It may be occurring karmically for your parents. And if your parents are quite elderly, if you have had key points activated by these eclipses, then do make sure you check in on your parents and be there for them as much as possible this week. You know why. And this is, eclipses often bring the conclusion of life cycles at certain ages and in certain health conditions. Eclipses are the catalyst. So make sure you check in with your father, your mother, and make sure that they know how much you love them this week. Gemini friends, my bookings are opening for the month of April now. I'm offering my readings for $50 off their usual price because these are troubled times and I want to support my beautiful followers here at YouTube who've always been there for me. If you need support, head to my website and book a reading with me for $50 off the usual price. Cancer rising, sun and moon people. Pisces is your 9th house, and this is where we are having a massive week of eclipse activation. First of all, on the 17th of March, Mars will be crossing 12 degrees of Pisces, activating the March 3rd full moon eclipse in Virgo that occurred with the South Node. What does that mean? Well, it means this is a time of karmic clearing and cleansing. What is finishing in a 12th house realm now will end and not come back. It is a real energy of releasing and letting go. What this means for Cancer people is you'll be saying goodbye to some kind of guru or teacher or wisdom giver in your life, somebody you looked up to and admired, somebody you valued and appreciated. They could be literally reaching the end of their incarnation, or they might be moving away from you or changing the nature of the dynamic with you. You might have a falling out with them. There is a very serious karma here of concluding energy. So my beautiful Cancer friends, if this should happen and it causes grief in your life, allow yourself to grieve. Be present with that grief, because losing an inspiration, losing a mentor, losing a guru, losing somebody who really meant something to us, in whatever form that takes, can be quite disconcerting. I remember a friend some years ago who found out some seriously dreadful things about a ashram leader that they had admired. And it absolutely devastated this person for weeks. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is conflict or animosity or a literal death, but there can be a figurative death or a figurative falling out with somebody that you held in high esteem. We could also be finding a new life purpose, or let's call it finishing up with an old life purpose. Something that gave your life meaning might be ending now. Something that gave your life purpose might be ending now because of this eclipse activation. This is also the house of your grandchildren. So if you are a grandparent listening to this reading, know that the 17th of March might see some kind of an ending or a conclusion in the life of your grandchild. Maybe they're finishing school, maybe they're finishing a job, maybe they're leaving primary school and moving into high school. There is an ending now that is happening in the life of a grandchild potentially. If you have a younger sibling, something might be concluding in the life of the partner of a younger sibling this week as well. So if you're close to your siblings and their partners, make sure that you're there to love and support them if necessary, or to celebrate with them if the ending is a happy one. This is also the house in Western astrology of relocation to a foreign country. So some of our Cancer friends may be relocating to another country, letting go of the old country they were associated with, or the old state or the old city, and moving to a completely different environment, completely different culture that might be happening now. There's a big energy of letting go when it's about international affairs in this sense. But then on the 21st of March, Mars will have moved on to the 15th degree of Pisces, where he will be activating the 7th of September 2025 full moon eclipse. But this time that eclipse was taking place with the North Node. And this means that endings occurred full moon, but it brings in some sort of brand new beginning, a fated new beginning that now occurs. And obviously, if you've let go of a place of living or a culture that you were part of, you'll now be moving into a new culture that you're going to put down roots in because of this energy. Not only that, you might be seeing a brand new energy unfold, a brand new beginning unfold with your grandchildren's lives or your younger siblings' partner's life. This is also, I might well add, Cancer, the energy of the second life partner. Now, this is just so amazing to me, everything I've described, because my husband is a Cancer Sun person, and I am his second life partner, and I am relocating to another culture. The energy of astrology, it does not lie. It is astounding, time and time and time again. So here we are. Your second life partner, my Cancer friends, might be going through a brand new beginning in life, a big ending, a massive karmic clearing and cleansing. So a new beginning, a new start can emerge. Many of you Cancer people will be finding something new that gives your life meaning, something new to sink your teeth into as the philosophy of life, as the meaning of truth and freedom, as the understanding of life. You know, maybe you discover maybe it's a Stoic teaching that helps you understand sufferings and challenges. Maybe you discover a new moral code that you want to live by, or a new set of ethics or principles that really floats your boat. These new things can emerge now as well. My beautiful Cancer friends, this is also a house of good karma. To have an eclipse in the 9th house is to have an eclipse in a house of great good fortune and blessing. So I just want to say this to my Cancer friends, that this is a time of really turning over a new page and a new chapter of life. After the 21st of March, you might find that there is a great deal of activation for success, prosperity, growth, expansion, and abundance in your life. I'm excited for you Cancer people because of this, because you really, really deserve this. So you may be traveling yourself, Cancer, under this energy. You may be expanding your soul rather than traveling physically, and you're expanding your understanding. And really, it's also a house of communication with the gods. So you might be receiving divine messages activated by Mars energy this week that could really change your life. I'm excited for you, Cancer. This is a big week in your life, but a big week that could bring in huge blessing. I want to let you know, Cancer, that bookings for readings with me for the month of April are now open, and I'm offering $50 off the usual price if you book during March. This is my offering to the world right now because we are living through troubled times, and never more than now do we need the understanding of our astrology chart. So I'm here to support you in that way if I can. My beloved Leo rising sun and moon people, all the energy of Pisces eclipse activation that's happening this week is occurring in your 8th house. This is a big week for my Leo friends. First off, on the 17th of March, you're going to be feeling things really conclude. The things are going to end and finish, and what is let go of at this time will not come back. So what does this look like? This is the activation of the March 3rd full moon eclipse with the South Node by Mars crossing this point. In the 8th house, this means that you're letting go of maybe other people's things in your life. You know, this is the house of other people's stuff. Maybe you've been yeah, I don't know, maybe you've been the what's it called when you're the manager of somebody else's will. Well, maybe this is the end of the will allocation or will distribution. I forget, there's a special name for it. It eludes me right now. But maybe that time of distributing the goods and chattels of somebody else's stuff has come to a conclusion, and you as the keeper of the will or the manager of the will, it's now done and you're letting go of that time. Maybe it's a time where you are ending your involvement in some sort of big business or some big investment, because big business and big investments are seen through the 8th house. Maybe for many of you Leo people, it could spell the end of a loan or a mortgage. Hopefully for many of you, you'll see the end of a mortgage. This is a clearing out of 8th house energy that is occurring this week due to this activation. And this is the house of taxes, big investments, big businesses, loans, mortgages, hidden money, other people's resources. There is a conclusion with this sort of thing. Let's pare it back from those large-scale expectations to something perhaps that many people will relate to right now. The 8th house is the support we get from other people. This could be moral support, emotional support, or physical support, as well as financial and material support. This is the house of what we receive from others. If you've been couch surfing, Leo, for a while now because you haven't been able to find a rental property or a home of your own, that could come to an end this week. Your need to lean on someone else or rely on someone else might be concluding because of the activation of this eclipse energy this week. And you might find something of your own to be able to support you in life. This is also, for many Leo people, this is the house that has to do with anything occult, anything otherworldly, mystical healers. And if you have had an association with maybe a mystical group or a mystical organization or a esoteric practice, you might be changing the way you relate to that practice or that group or those mystical healers this week. And maybe you're a part of a group of psychologists and you decide, I don't really align with that group of psychologists anymore. I'm going to go my own way. You let go of your association, maybe with an astrological society, because that astrological society has beliefs that I can't really align with, so I'm going to change my associations there. For many Leo people, if you are having surgery this week, this could be a time when, I feel that it's promising. This is not an eclipse energy. This is the activation of the eclipses that have been. So surgery could actually go well. And some of you may be literally cutting out Mars energy, something like a tumor or a growth or a cyst out of your body this week because of this eclipse in the 8th house of surgery. I see that as a positive thing. I would also suggest, my beautiful Leo friends, that the 21st of March will see not just the endings of certain things in your life, but the emergence of the new, because this will activate when Mars crosses 15 degrees of Pisces on the 21st of March. It will activate the 7th of September eclipse last year. This will bring in endings but new beginnings. So there's a lot of letting go on the 17th of March, but by the 21st, in come the brand new beginnings, the rebirth, the renovation, the renewal, the reactivation. You might decide that you're going to, renovate your bedroom and make it something far better than it has been. So you actually physically renovate a bedroom. You might find that you are maybe turning your life around 180 degrees, and that could look like a brand new career. Why? Because this is the 11th house from the 10th, meaning a brand new career opportunity that is beneficial. 11th house energy is rewards and gains from a career circumstance. Many of you Leo people might be welcoming in a fresh start with career that is much more rewarding than where you'd been before. That's exciting. Some of you might be looking at moving into the practice professionally, of shamanism, psychology, astrology, Reiki, or some other kind of occult, esoteric, transformative practice. You might be beginning your journey with such things. Some of you might be joining secret societies. Some of you might be feeling that you can ask somebody for help, whereas prior to the 21st of March, it was just off the table. After the 21st of March, you might be able to receive support. After the 21st of March, you might actually be able to open the doors of blessing in your life to receive from other people. This is the house of receiving. Now, let's just say many Leo people, you are very self-identified and autonomous as a Leo person. And a lot of the time when we are this way, speaking from experience as a Leo sun person myself, when we're this way, we say we must do it our own way. We must do it on our terms. We must be self-sufficient and autonomous in how we accumulate resources for living. Leos can be very much like that. In fact, so can Aquarius people, the two most autonomous of signs. But this energy this week says there are lessons to be learned and karmic clearing that must take place in how you perceive your individuality and your need to go it alone on the planet. You need to learn how to receive, Leo, and this is the week to teach you how. Because the universe may, for many Leo people, just offer you some kind of opportunity to receive. Are you going to do it graciously? Are you going to realize that you are as deserving as anyone else on the planet of receiving kindness and good things? That you don't have to carry it all on your shoulders, Leo? That you are actually able to receive and are deserving of support? This week could see that a new beginning in how you approach receiving in your life. A change of attitude, a change of mindset about what it is to receive. One thing you could tap into, Leo, along these lines is the deservability factor, because Leo is the king. True king energy, and let me just say, those that are currently in royal families, particularly in the Commonwealth, are Capricornian people. They are not Leo people. They are not true kings in the real sense of the word. They are very much under the hierarchical governance of Mordor and Sauron. Those who know what I mean by that know. But true Leo people know that they deserve the leadership, that they deserve the loyalty of those around them, that they are loyal to their country, to their people, true kings, true Leo energy. They are loyal to the nation and not the Mordor and the Sauron. True Leo people know that they deserve blessings because they are chosen by the divine. We all are emblems of the divine living human lives. We are all that. But Leo people have an inner knowing of their divinity. And with that in mind, Leo, this is your opportunity this week to embrace receiving, to understand what it is to receive, because you are just a divine energy, like all people are. But this is the week for coming to peace with that. So there is, just to reiterate it, there is a clearing and cleansing of any attitudes in your heart and mind, Leo, that stop you from receiving. And there is a new beginning and a new recognition of your deservability because you are a divine being incarnate in human form. Embrace it, live it, know it, my Leo friends. New beginning of deservability begins in your life this week. Leo friends, my bookings for April are currently open, and I'm offering $50 off the standard price of my readings because these are troubled times, and I want to be able to support you and be there for you if you need me at this time. And I know it's crazy times in the world. Head to my website if you would like a reading with me to support you by understanding your astrological energy. Virgo rising, sun and moon people, what a week it is for you. You are having eclipse activation on your axis, but it's all taking place in the house that is Pisces, the 7th house. First up on the 17th of March, Mars will be moving across 12 degrees of Pisces, which is the degree of the March 3rd full moon eclipse that occurred in your sign. What does this mean? It means that somebody in your life may be letting go of something. Not you, but the somebody else. There's a releasing, a letting go, walking away. It could be a relationship. It could be a walking away from a business partnership. The conclusion of a collaborative time. Maybe this was to be expected. Maybe you had a contract to collaborate with a person on a certain project for the duration of time up until this week. And that's what might be ending right now. This is very much the realm of the chart that has to do with our approach to public relations, our ability to interact with others. And so there is an ending in that regard now. So there might be an ending with your audience. Maybe you've decided that you've been on YouTube long enough and now you're going to take your offering and go onto purely Rumble or purely Patreon or purely some other private source of information, or and you're moving your entire audience to that platform now. There's a big energy of letting go and a change with your audience. It doesn't mean that you're losing them necessarily, but there's a finishing of some dynamic with other people, with an audience. But this is also the house of what we perceive other people to be and how we treat others. So Virgo, you might be going through a complete change in how you view other people and how you treat other people. I mean, sometimes it's hard when we've lived through difficult situations to see people in the light of love. But this is where we need to move to. And astrology teaches this more than anything else in the world does. It helps us recognize that everybody is wired according to their astrology birth chart. And therefore we have compassion and grace for the battles people are fighting that are their own battles to fight according to their astro wiring. We don't judge. We don't condemn. We recognize that they're living their soul's wiring in this lifetime. So what I'm saying here is that you might be moving from an energy of judgment of others and criticism of others to an energy of compassion for the journey of other people. A more balanced, harmonious, fair and just understanding of other people that might be coming about through this particular activation by Mars on the 17th of March. There could also be some conclusions to some sort of trade or sales or a negotiation process or a mediation process, some sort of business dealings. This is the 10th house from the 10th that you might have been involved in that are now coming to its natural end. This is also the house of agreements, contracts, commitments, promises, vows, and treaties. Some of those might be ending in your life in some way, shape, or form this week as well. My beautiful Virgo friends, on the 21st of March, Mars will have moved to be activating the 7th of September 2025 eclipse that occurred at 15 degrees of Pisces. This is a different kind of eclipse that is actually, yes, it's all about clearing out, cleansing, and bringing endings because it was a full moon, but it was with the North Node. So it was making space, goosebumps and tingles. It was making space for new beginnings for our Virgo friends. So what this means for Virgo people is that you're going to be attracting after the 21st of March new clients, a new audience, maybe a new relationship that steps into your life, maybe a new business partnership, maybe a new contract presents itself, a new promise, a new vow, a new agreement that happens. Maybe you are attracting and establishing in your heart a new perception of people, a new way that you view humanity might be coming your way. And that comes in after the 21st of March, perhaps triggered by some kind of event. Mars is action in the real world. So somebody might do something in your life or share something with you or do some random act of kindness, and it changes your perception of humanity entirely. But it'll be through some activity or action of another person that this perception of others, perception of people will change. This is also the house of balance and fairness and justice. So it does speak to a new beginning that is going to be more harmonious, more just, more balanced, that is now emerging in your life. The seventh house is also the house of all legalities, including relationship legalities. So for many Virgo people, there might be a new relational legality. It could also indicate maybe some kind of a court case that is opening up now that you might get involved in or have to be part of in some way, shape or form. There might be some new opportunity for trade and sales. You might be emerging into a new negotiation for something or a new business deal that's unfolding for you. Some of you might be hiring some kind of expert. Could be an architect, could be a financial professional, it could be a marketer, some professional person. The experts that we hire are seen through the seventh house, and some of you might be entering into a new arrangement with some sort of expert or getting advice or guidance from some sort of expert now as a result of this eclipse activation. This will be a very effective and useful guidance and wisdom giving opportunity that you'll enter into now. This is the fourth house from the fourth and the 10th house from the 10th. So there could be something that's happening in the life of your maternal grandmother or paternal grandfather, my Virgo friends. And if those souls are still with you here on the planet, do check in with them. Do make sure that you offer them your love and support right now, because they may be going through a brand new start, a new beginning, a new life emergence in their life in some way. Maybe something is ending in their life. And for some, I hate to say it, but there might be actually a physical ending in the life of such people if there have been indications for that happening during these eclipse periods. Early weeks of March 2026, the duration of September 2025. If that's the case, Virgo, you might be seeing those people exit from your life right now. That's what I'm seeing for our Virgo rising, sun or moon people. Not all of these things will be manifesting for everybody, but there might be one or two things that unfold in life for you. I want to let you know, Virgo, that bookings for readings for me, with me rather, in April are now open at my website, and I'm offering $50 off my usual reading price. This is the offering I'm giving to the world right now because we're in troubled times, and I want to offer my knowledge as a source of support for you, my Virgo friends. Head to the website if you would like a reading with me. Libra rising, sun and moon people. What a week it's going to be, full of eclipse activation. On the 17th of March, Mars will transit across 12 degrees of Pisces, which is opposite the March 3rd full moon eclipse degree. This is a hefty activation. What this is going to bring is a big energy of releasing, letting go, karmic clearing and cleansing in your 6th house, Libra. The 6th house is a house of where we burn karma. And let me just say, Libra, you've burnt it. You've done it. It's over. What you had to clear, what you had to release, let it go. It is, not let it go. It is let go of. It is done. It is finished. This is the house of where we have to serve. And some of you might be winding up some act of service now, finishing some act of service, because it's service that burns karma. Helping, healing, fixing, practical service. So maybe you're finishing your karma with parents. Maybe you're finishing your karma with children. Maybe you're finishing karma with community. Maybe you're finishing karma with a job. It doesn't matter what the karma is. There is an ending of karma as service now. Serving other people, serving humanity, serving society. It's finished. You are done with the service. It's now time for love, joy, and receiving. I'm so happy to tell you this, my beautiful Libran friends. So many of you will have been struggling, and this may have gone on for quite some time. Struggle, adversity, conflict. This energy of finishing and releasing can actually indicate that's the end of the adversity, the end of the struggle, the end of the conflict, perhaps the end of the hard work in life. So I love this energy for Libran people. It's about releasing and letting go of sixth house things. Now, for some people, this could be your earthly body, and any limitations on your earthly body may be being purged and cleansed and released. This could be practically getting rid of toxicity, or it could be discovering some kind of practical healing method that's going to help your body to restore itself and heal itself going forward into the future. You know, before I did this recording, I was watching the most beautiful video on TikTok of this wonderful lady who rescues parrots and birds from horrific, awful conditions. And she helps restore them back to health. This is the house of pets. I find it quite ironic that I was watching this before I did your reading, Libra. And this is the house of pets. So many of you will be releasing, cleansing, clearing, any toxic environments for your pets. Some of you may even be, because what we're going to talk about in a minute, which relates to this, may even be taking on a new pet as a source of service, helping, healing, and fixing, and love as an act of love, because this is a house of pets. But yes, some of you might be helping a pet to recover from some sort of toxicity, some sort of bad environment, some sort of adversity or struggle. And I actually really love the videos on social media of rescue pets who go on to have the most beautiful, happy lives. This activation on the 17th of March could see you step into a role of helping, healing, and fixing something for a pet that you take on board. It could also indicate that something about your workplace is about to conclude and finish and be let go of. So that might be good. Hopefully it's all good. The circumstances of your job are seen from the 6th house. So any circumstances that felt out of balance, out of whack, unfair, can absolutely be rectified and cleared right now. This is the energy of rebalancing what is out of balance. Pisces, as the sign here, says, tap into your spirituality. Tap into who you were in a past life to allow that full karmic clearing and cleansing to happen. Some of you might like to meditate or go into trance and think about what is it in your life that is concluding now, that is a release of karma, a release of the contract to serve, help, heal, and fix in this lifetime. I'm sure that for many of you, it will be made abundantly clear what exactly that is. Now, this is going to allow you to get back to fairness and equality and bring things back into balance by releasing what is out of balance. But on the 21st of March, Mars is actually then going to activate the 15th degree of Pisces by transiting across that point. And this was the point of the 7th of September 2025 full moon eclipse with the North Node. So that brings in new 6th house beginnings. Now, in the positive, that could bring in new employees if you're an employer. And, maybe you've had to let some people go. That's negative, obviously. But this is an ending in the beginning of the week of releasing, cleansing, clearing. And you got rid of perhaps some employees who were not cutting the mustard, who needed to pull up their socks and just wouldn't. So you let them go. And what that then does is make space to bring in, after March the 21st, some employees who are really passionate, really keen, really on board with what you're doing. It could also, in other ways, see you starting a whole new health cycle. Maybe practicing forgiveness, and that helps you with your digestive issues. Cleaning out the toxicity in your body. Maybe you do a parasite cleanse or something like that. And initially, it's like you're letting go, you're releasing, but then the body steps into health, and a new beginning with your health and the harmony of your body emerges. So new beginnings with health can absolutely happen. If you are literally cleaning, cleansing, clearing your home space, as this house is all about, you might find that after the 21st of March, you are just in a different energetic space because you've got rid of the mold, or you've got rid of the termites, or you've got rid of all the clutter. And, as above, so below, or as within, so without. If you live in a cluttered space, you live with cluttered energy in your soul. And you free your soul from the clutter. You free your house from the mold and the clutter and the yuck. And suddenly your soul is lighter and brighter and more receptive to the beauty in the world and the joyful energy. So by choosing to release and let go and to literally clear and cleanse, you have a whole new energetic state of being that comes your way, my beautiful Librans, after the 21st of March. It's just so interesting for me as a Libra moon because I am shipping my whole life to the other side of the world. And it's going to create, like, my shipping is leaving around this time. I'm not going to give you the exact date, but it's pretty much around this time. And that will literally clear out my residence that I own from anything that I am taking with me. So there is a literal clearing in order to have a new beginning. Sometimes astrology works very, very literally. So some of you might be having a new beginning with a clean house, and I hope that's the case, or a fresh start in a work environment, new fresh beginnings in a workplace. Maybe you're starting a new job, or maybe you've got a whole lot of brand new work colleagues that you didn't have before. Maybe you are, as I said, this is a house of our karmic responsibility to serve and the karma we need to burn. I'm not saying that you're going to start over with a whole other lot of karma that you've now got to burn and release, but you're starting life this week, my beautiful Librans, with a clean canvas, a brand new unwritten page, ready for all the wonder and the creation of life that you're going to put there. So to my mind, this is not just a cleansing week, but it is a freeing, liberating week when the karma closes in one area of life and you walk free. So exciting, I'm happy to say. Now, this is going to really balance not only the body, and you start with a whole new energetic physical state of being, but it balances the body and the spirit and the mind. So releasing the toxins, cleaning the environment, cleaning the soul, and getting rid of the old karmic obligations brings in a brand new balance between mind, body, and spirit. You're a new person this week, Libra. There is an energy in you that hasn't been present for a long, long time, and I'm excited for you. This is a beautiful energy. Embrace it and live it, and give thanks. Even though this is a malefic house in the Vedic astrology system, Libra, I see these eclipses bringing power your way with the activation this week. Now, Libra, I'd like to let you know that I know that we are in troubled times in the world right now. And as such, I want to offer you the support that I can, which is through my abilities to be able to read an astrology chart. And I'm offering my readings in April for $50 off the usual price. You can book now. The discounted offerings are available at my website. If you need support, I'm here for you. Beautiful Scorpio rising, sun and moon people. This is Eclipse activation week like you've never seen before. It's a powerful, energetic week. And this week, it's going to all kick off on the 17th of March when Mars crosses 12 degrees of Pisces and activates the March 3rd South Node full moon eclipse in the sign of Virgo by opposition. So this is a big energy of releasing, letting go, karmic clearing and cleansing. And what ends now, it won't come back. So this really speaks to a reinvention of your reputation or sudden reversals that might occur in your career, Scorpio, because this 5th house is the 8th house from the 10th. And when we have an activation of this eclipse energy, it brings in a letting go of maybe an old career or an old reputational issue that now gets laid to rest, that you now walk away from, into something better. And the reason I know it's something better is because 5th house energy is good luck. It's good karma. And so what is let go of now will not come back, but you will walk into the sunshine of a brand new opportunity. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. But what else is being released and let go of? Well, Scorpio, some of you might be releasing something to do with your inner child. Maybe your inner child was wounded a long, long time ago, and you shut that part of yourself down and denied it. And now it's about this inner child wanting to come back again and let go of the walls that kept that inner child shut down through the trauma. So it could be a time for clearing and cleansing wounds received in childhood that damaged your little self, little person that you know and love deep inside of you. This eclipse energy can help you take action to heal that. That could be by doing some kind of therapy, or it could be that somebody enters your life and gives you an energy of love or an experience of love that helps the releasing occur. Because this is a house of love. It's the house of what we love and love in general. So love can be part of the source of clearing and cleansing for your soul. Now, on another level, this can also look like letting go of love. And this is obviously not a vibration that we want to necessarily go to. Nobody likes to lose love out of our lives, but sometimes it happens. And if it does happen, know that this activation of the eclipse energy is what is meant to be as part of the divine purpose for life. Often when something is released and let go of in this manner through an eclipse, it's so that we can move more into our destiny. And your destiny might be to have a different kind of love, a new kind of love, a love that feels completely different to what you've known before. So when eclipses come in, we need to be willing to flow with what they bring us, even if it's sometimes of a challenging nature. What else might be leaving? Well, you might notice some serious change with a child. Now, maybe your child is leaving home, or maybe your child is changing jobs. Maybe, particularly your eldest child, is choosing a different course of career, or a different partner, or a different place to live. There is some kind of change and energy of ending that is happening with a child. Maybe your child has been sick for a long time. This eclipse, especially if it's activating a key point in your chart, can absolutely see you finding a cure. And Mars is the cause of all this, so there can be an actual cutting out of a health issue in a person's life. It could be a literal cutting out of a cyst in a child, or cutting out of a problematic organ, or just a surgery of some description. Mars is surgery that needs to happen to clear and release something health-wise in a child's life. That can absolutely happen. But one thing that is for sure, and that is, this is a house of luck and good karma from past lives. And I think that by the 21st of March, Scorpio, you're going to see a real change in energetic momentum for the positive, because the clearing and the cleansing will happen first. But on the 21st of March, Mars is going to cross 15 degrees of Pisces, which was the degree of the September 7th, 2025 full moon eclipse with the North Node. And this is the biggie. The North Node activation here is what is going to bring new beginnings into your life. And in the 5th house, it's fantastic. New good karma comes your way. New joy, new excitement, new happiness, new fire in the belly for living life. You may find a new love. And by that I mean, yes, a romance. That's absolutely potentially on the cards. But it could also be that you find something new to love, a new hobby, a new interest, or maybe you just love reigniting that fire of childhood that has been shut down, maybe through trauma for so long, and you fall in love with who you really are deep down once again. New beginnings emerge after the endings. So this can also look like a brand new career that feels just right. It feels like a comfy pair of slippers that just made especially for you. It fits you perfect. This can also look like charging up our joy, because this is a house of joy. And where joy has been lacking, new beginnings with joy can come in to your life. And of course, you might find joy through Pisces means, through spiritual practice, through traveling and having a rest or going on a holiday, through connecting with people over art or music or deep inner researched wisdom, which are all Pisces things. I feel that many of you Scorpio people will find love for life again this week. And this is wonderful. This is the house of talents and true innate intelligence, what you don't have to work hard at to be successful in. And you're going to start loving those innate talents and capabilities that you have. And you might even find brand new ways to utilize those true innate talents and intelligence that you have to make life work for you better. I'm excited for you. This is fun, this is joy, this is excitement and exhilaration. By the end of this week, Mars will have energized this area of your chart. Some of you could even find that you get pregnant under this energy if you're wanting a child. Some of you might find that this energy might bring you a new renewed love for your children, a love for the lives your children are living or the people that they are. There can even be a renewed love for a boyfriend or a girlfriend here, renewed romance and delight in one another that enters your life. Scorpio, it sounds wonderful to me. I want to just let you know that these are troubled times we're living in the world around us. So I am offering $50 off the usual price for readings with me. If you need support, I'm here for you. My bookings for April are currently open and I would love to connect with you. Sagittarius rising, sun and moon people, what a week of eclipse activation this is. On the 17th of March, Mars will move across 12 degrees of Pisces, the opposition degree to the March 3rd full moon eclipse. When Mars opposes or conjuncts an eclipse degree, it is one of the most powerful activations that we see. This week, I'm excited because this is happening in your 4th house. Now, first of all, in the beginning of the week, there's a big energy of letting go, of karmic clearing and cleansing. And you may be very much in the process, quite literally, of cleaning out a home. Cleaning, the energy space. Maybe you've got your Palo Santo and you're, cleansing the energy of your home. Or you could be literally packing boxes and making space because you're about to move, or you're reorganizing, you're decluttering. There is an energy of letting go of something out of your home space. Maybe you're weeding the garden and you're literally letting go of the weeds, about to compost the weeds. That's something that this can represent. But this is also not only the actual physical bricks and mortar house, but it is the same household as you. So something in your household might be about to change. Maybe the way the household has been run is about to be released, cleared, cleansed. Maybe the division of labor in the household is about to go through a restructuring time. Maybe this could also apply to family members. There's a big energy of letting go. Now, it mightn't literally be saying goodbye to family members, although that can happen. Maybe a family member is moving away or going to college, or maybe, moving across country for a job or something. There's an energy of letting go and releasing a family member. But also it can be an energy of just energetically letting someone go, releasing a bond with a family member. Maybe you've been clinging to an old memory. The 4th house has to do with lineage and memory. And so there could be an old memory you've been clinging to that has actually kept you stuck and kept you trapped and kept you from being able to progress into the life you truly want to live. Well, you could be releasing an old memory now, releasing the old energy between maybe you and a loved one, someone, very, very close to you. It could be that maybe mum or dad is energetically removing themselves in some way from your life, because this is a house of the parents. And that can absolutely be the case. Maybe mum and dad are deciding, we need to downsize, so we're releasing the family home, selling the family home, selling the family farm. We're going to downsize and we're going to move into a smaller home. And we're letting go of that family history, that family memory that we had. Maybe they're handing the family business over to you, so there's a letting go of what your parents once called theirs and giving it over to you, the family farm or the business that you're going to take over. There's an energy of some sort of family dynamic and lineage letting go. So it could be property, it could be real estate, it could be home, it could be a family business. Something about your roots might be being released now. Yes, this could be a time when you go back to where you came from, or you remember where you came from, you honor it, you celebrate it, and you release it and give it over to the gods. You know, that trauma from the past, or that memory that is keeping you. Maybe, you know, not everybody has a beautiful childhood. And so maybe there was some memories of mum or dad that are something that you really just want to forget. And so this is a time of clearing and cleansing those sorts of things, family memories that are not worth keeping, that hold you back, you know, maybe behavior patterns. And I'm not talking necessarily about the big horrific things like alcoholism or, physical abuse. It could just be, you know, a memory of mum being a perfectionist and expecting perfectionism from me, so to the point where it was debilitating, you know, those sorts of things. Anything that was somehow in recollection now a debilitation can be cleared and released and let go of, Sagittarius. Then later in the week, on the 21st of March, we are going to be having the Mars transit across 15 degrees of Pisces, which was the degree of the 7th of September eclipse last year. This was an eclipse with the full moon and north node. And so the energy will shift towards the end of this week to that of not only endings and releasing and clearing and letting go, but new beginnings emerging. This could look like a new house or a new room because you've cleared it out and cleaned it up, and now that room is fresh for some new use. It looks like a brand new garden bed. It looks like a new vegetable patch. This ending could look like a new relationship with a mother or father figure. It could look like a new family dynamic that emerges out of this activation period. It looks like a new sense of safety, security, and stability that manifests. A new level of comfort in your life. A new way of perceiving yourself because you've cleared and cleansed the old memories. There is a new way that you look at who you are. The fourth house has to do with our emotions and our inner home, how we feel about who we are, how comfortable we are with ourselves. That takes on a whole new dynamic this week because of this energy. The fourth house is the house of things at the lowest level, basements, foundations, bunkers, anything underground. And it's hilarious because David, my husband, who's Sagittarius rising, is in the process of preparing the basement apartment that we'll be living in at his parents' house when we move this week. So literally, the astrology is so powerful. We live it every single moment. This is also the house, the fourth house has to do with how we love, our level of closeness and togetherness. And certainly as new beginnings emerge from this eclipse activation, we might be feeling closer and more bonded with people who are intimate in our lives. Now that can be your immediate blood family, or depending on your chart, it could be your friends, or it could be your church, or it could be your community that you feel most closely bonded with. Certainly there is a very strong new beginning that is represented this week for you to be able to bond and be close to another human being is what this is all about. Some of you might also be discovering new things about your family tree and your lineage, and some of you in the Vedic system might even find that you get access to some kind of fixed wealth. Fixed wealth is houses and real estate and land, but it's also our toys, grown-up toys, you would call them. Our luxuries in Vedic astrology are seen from the fourth house. So jet skis and fancy cars and, you know, big computers and stuff like that. That is part of the luxuries of life and grown-up toys. So whatever you consider to be a grown-up toy in your life, you might suddenly find you get a new start with, a new opportunity, a new beginning to enjoy something of that nature. So many ways that this can manifest. Your parents might be going through a brand new start in some way. Maybe they move into that new house, even if it is a downsized house, it's a brand new start. Your parents might be moving to a different part of the country and getting involved in a new community. Parental new beginnings can absolutely be part of this. Also, this is the house of our emotions and our feelings. And you might be, after you've grieved and gone deep and processed the clearing and the cleansing of wounded emotions, wounded heart, then at the end of this week, a new emotional way of being emerges, a new happiness, a new joy, a new feeling of belonging, a new feeling of understanding may start to emerge for you as this week progresses. Sagittarius, it's an exciting week in a really powerful way. And when we have things occurring on the mutable signs, well, in this case for Sagittarius, the mutable signs, which are on axes for you, like 1st, 10th, 7th, and 4th houses, this indicates that it's going to manifest very strongly in your life. Beloved Sagittarius, I want to let you know that I am currently offering $50 off the usual price of a reading with me. And I'm doing this because we are living through troubled times, and I want to be here for you, my viewers here at YouTube. If you are in need of support, if you need to have your astrology chart read so you can understand what's going on in your life and what's coming up in the future, then I am here for you. Bookings for April readings with me are now open. Capricorn rising, sun and moon people, wowee, it is a massive activation week. And this is because we are having so many things occurring this week that are triggering eclipse points. First of all, we've got Mars on the 17th of March moving across 12 degrees of Pisces, which activates the March 3rd full moon eclipse with the South Node in Virgo. This indicates it's a big energy of letting go, releasing, and karmic clearing and cleansing. What is finishing up in your life now will remain finished, and it will not come back again. And so in the 3rd house, this means that some friendships might be ending. Friendships that felt as close as a sibling could be being released now, letting go of. You might be releasing them, they might be releasing you. Know that if that's what happens, it is part of the divine destiny that these eclipses wanted to bring about. Allow it to go. Allow things to flow through, even if it feels like something that you need to grieve over. The 3rd house is what we think about. And so it gives tone to our character. It really does, because our thinking colors our personality. And you might be letting go of some thinking habits or some thinking behaviors that were really coloring who you were. And people will start seeing you now and go, my goodness, what's happened to you? And there might be nothing that's happened to you on the external, but your mind has changed. Your energy is different. Your understanding of the world has shifted because you have cleansed your mind. You've cleared your mind of all that went before. You know what? We need to do this regularly, all of us. Clearing the mind, Capricorn. And we can do this by getting off social media for a time, or long term if you want, not watching mainstream media news and television programming, which is designed to brainwash. We can clear our mind by getting back in the sunshine and being in nature and immersing ourselves in the beauty of our natural, grounded, planetary energy. We can really help our mind. And I encourage you to do so, because this week it's about letting go and cleansing the processes of the mind. You might also find that this is a week where literally your neighbors say goodbye. They leave. They move on. Your renters next door decide they're going to rent in another part of town, and away they go. Renting, or people that we thought were part of our localized community, whether we knew them or not, suddenly that's come to an end and they move on. In some sources of astrology, they associate our level of ambition and drive with the 3rd house. Now, some of you, because of this, might be feeling lackluster, tired, burnt out, and lacking in energy. This is a house of busyness. It's a house of bravery. And when there's this massive activation of letting go and releasing, you might find you just haven't got the energy. anymore. You really cannot be bothered with the everyday run-of-the-mill treadmill of life, or you're not feeling as brave as you once were. The ambition and drive has a bit of a break, but it's not going to last long, so allow it to just flow through you. I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling worn out, I'm going to bed early. I'm going to take the Saturday afternoon and just lie on the couch and watch a movie. We allow ourselves to feel the energy, knowing that it is just a cycle and it's not a permanent state of being. This is a house also of transactions. If you're in the middle of buying or selling, if you're running your own business, something might be being let go of now. And maybe it's time. Maybe it's time you cleared out and pruned the old wood in your business, or that transaction, or that buy, sell, trade situation. You decide to let it go because it's not doing you any favors, or it's not working to your advantage. An energy of letting go. So you might be, in the case of a small business and self-made wealth, you might be pruning back branches of your business that are actually not productive. You know what? This facet that I was offering the world, I haven't had anyone purchase whatever facet it might be for, 6 months. Therefore, it's out. It's gone. I'm going to streamline my processes. I'm going to clear it away. That can be a healthy thing to do under this particular activation energy. Now, not only that, but on the 21st of March, a little later this week, Mars is then going to move across 15 degrees of Pisces, which is the degree of the 7th of September eclipse last year. And this eclipse was a full moon with the North Node. What this means is not only does it spell endings, but new beginnings emerge. So this is an exciting week of letting go and then moving into new potential. So remember that energy, that busyness that I said you'd grow weary of, boom, end of the week, you've got your second wind and away you go. You're going to feel brave. You're going to feel head up. You're going to get on with the job. You're going to be ready to make it happen. Ready to go, ready to compete. You're going to find a new level of excitement and enthusiasm that comes into your life. And this is why I say allow the lackluster, tired energy to just be, because it's all going to change. And you're going to be, cooking with gas, as they say, by the end of the week. This energy of the full moon in Pisces from 7th of September may very much activate you a desire to travel, to go and visit new places, to have a short trip somewhere, to go and see somebody in a nearby town that you haven't seen in ages. You'll be wanting to get moving, get going. It can actually be a really great energy for even getting fit by taking up some sort of jogging or group sport, or some kind of a bike riding where you go from A to B as a new mode of energetic use. It's a great way to use this energy. Many of you, after you've pruned back facets of your business that are no longer serving you, might find that you're full of new ideas for new ways to activate your business, to make money and to create wealth. You might be full of new ideas for new transactions, new things to buy and sell, new trading to be done. New ways to make money with your hands will come flooding in as well. And you might even find, my beautiful Capricorn friends, that some kinds of new friendships emerge into your life. New connections, new sense of belonging, new sense of, I really like this person and I feel a kindredship with this person that enter into your life. I hope that's the case for you, my beautiful Capricorn friends. Capricorn, something, this has been a very difficult month, and so was February. We are living in what we would call troubled times, and as such, I'm offering you $50 off the usual price of my readings. If you book in for an April reading with me, I'm here to support you at this discounted rate for these troubled times that we're in. Gorgeous Aquarius rising, sun and moon people. Here we are at one of the biggest weeks of the year, the full-on activation week for a number of different eclipses, all happening this week. And it's happening by Mars moving across 12 degrees of Pisces, which is the opposition to the Virgo full moon with the south node that we had on March the 3rd. This is happening on the 17th of March. This is an energy of big letting go. Mars is going to activate and put action into some releasing. And this is the house of giving. So I think for many of you Aquarius people, you're going to be releasing your material goods in some way by giving to another, giving something as a blessing to another person. You might be very inspired this week to let go of something that maybe you've always valued, but as a gift to somebody else. Maybe somebody always loved your beautiful green velvet couch that you had, and you're like, you know what, I just don't have room for it anymore. And I know Joe down the road always thought it was just gorgeous. I'm going to give it to Joe. A big energy of letting go of some material possessions, something that maybe you've always valued, and it's going to be a blessing to somebody else who maybe is in need or who needs that kind of kindness in their life. You may be releasing your belongings, not for just willy-nilly, for no purpose. There is depth and meaning to this. I also feel that for many of you Aquarius people, you will be clearing out your belongings. It could be clearing out your shoe cupboard. It could be clearing out your bookshelf. Maybe your children have outgrown all the books that are there. You know, they're teenagers now, and all those children's books they're not interested in anymore. So you're clearing them out and letting them go for somebody who will make good use of them. What is going now in your life, Aquarius, are the material things. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you don't have a say and that the universe just rips the rug out from under you materially. No, there is simply just an energy of passing something on, releasing. You should also be looking at your food situation as well. What can you maybe change or let go of that needs to be released, and maybe there's some stuff in your pantry that's gone moldy or is out of date, and it's like, you know what, I need to get into this fridge and clear this out because my gosh, it's just a mess. That is literally what can be happening now. Something else though is the second house has to do with emotional storage. What are you hoarding emotionally in your life? Well, there may be a time of getting rid of that emotional bondage that you're under, that emotional storage. You might be releasing old emotions. And so if you need to cry to let those things go, if you need to just have one day where you really just weep it all out, do it. This is a time of clearing and cleansing of emotional storage. You might also find, more than any other sign, Aquarius, that this week your body is releasing stuff, releasing toxins, releasing, you know what I mean? Literally releasing. How's the body release? Well, from either the bottom end or sometimes the top end. So just be careful. Some of you might get sick. If there's any toxicity, you might be like throwing up. There can actually be literal letting go of what your body has been hoarding this week through Mars's activation. Some of you might be cutting something out of your life. Mars energy is to cut. Some of you might be having a tooth removed by a dentist. That can often involve cutting a root, literal Mars cutting of teeth. Some of you might be getting a haircut. Some of you might be getting, maybe a mole taken off your face. Literal cutting of body parts relating to the second house, which is the face, the teeth, the hair. And I feel that that's probably, it's a decision you'll make. It's not like this is forced upon you. And it'll be for the greater good in the long term. The other thing that is happening this week is that on the 21st of March, Mars will move across 15 degrees of Pisces, which is the degree of the full moon from last September the 7th, 2025. This is powerful because this eclipse occurred with the North Node. It was a full moon eclipse with the North Node. So what is it saying? Not only is this an energy of endings and releasing at the beginning of the week, but we are going to end up moving into some new beginnings by the time the week is over. New money, new belongings, new values, new emotions that come in and fill the place of those old emotions we were hanging on to. So if you lose a ton of weight through throwing up or, having diarrhea or something revolting like that, let me just say that by the end of the week, you'll put the weight back. It's not going to be lost for forever, because what the body is storing will find that there's a new opportunity and a new beginning. But you can actually have a new beginning with what you're eating. A new diet. Maybe you go through, you eat some chicken that's off or something, and you have some purging and releasing that occurs because of that, and you vow, that's it, never going to eat uncooked chicken again, or I'm never going to have raw this or raw that again. You make a choice and a decision about what you're eating as a result of what was cleared and cleansed earlier in the week. But you might also be changing the food that you eat and making a new start with a diet, or diet in some way, not exercise, but diet is a second house thing, and you're making some serious beneficial changes to how you're eating, why you're eating, what you're eating. That can be good. Some of us eat as a emotional crutch. Well, this is a week where this can absolutely support you to move out of that tendency, that habit. This is a week where that can be cleared and released, and you can actually start moving into a new type of emotional healthy well-being. Some of you might be opening a new account with a financial institution, quite literally this week. New beginnings with a bank, new beginnings with some way to store your assets, your money. Maybe you've got gold or silver or something, and you make a fresh start, Aquarius, with how you're storing that. Maybe you make a fresh start with your pantry. You clean it out, you rejig it all, you get new containers to keep things in. Everything looks like it's straight out of Pinterest. You have a brand new start with how you're storing and keeping the food in your pantry, the clothes in your cupboard, the books on the shelf. New ways of storing literally can actually happen. The second house also has to do with what we do to make ourselves feel stable and secure, and what we need to do to manifest the promise of our first house. So you're going to have new beginnings in these realms as well. New beginnings with feelings of stability and the ability to create resources to give you a strong foothold in life. When we don't have a home, when we don't have clothes, when we don't have food, life's precarious. Life's tough. We need those things. Don't believe the propaganda that says, you can go chant Om on a mountainside and have no food and no shelter and no warmth and whatever, and you'll be just fine. No, we are the divine in a human form, experiencing life on quite a harsh planet at times. We need these things to be able to survive. That said, you might have a whole new start with these things, energy of stability and security, and our assets that give that security and stability. You might have a whole new beginning with how you value the resources of life. What we do to manifest the promise of the first house, well, this week it's all about turning over a new leaf, making a fresh start, so that we can manifest the promise of the first house. If your first house promises a life of spiritual awakening and spiritual wisdom, this is the week where that will happen for you. This week, if your first house promises that you're going to have a massive career, this will be the week where that new beginning starts to manifest for you. And the circumstances that are going to bring that big career your way will start to manifest. If your first house promises a life as a healer because you've learned to overcome your own health issues, this is the week where that overcoming occurs and you step into a role of healer. But you've got to understand what your first house in your chart is all about to understand the potential manifestation of the promise of that first house. It's an exciting time, Aquarius, if you know who you are astrologically. With that in mind, I also want to just wrap up by saying I'm offering $50 off my readings this week. And these are troubled times we're living through. So I want to support you all by offering affordable readings while we're going through this difficult time on the planet. As such, you can book in for a reading in April with me for $50 off. And in a reading like that, I'd be able to take a look at your first house and see what it promises in terms of your mission and purpose for living, as well as anything else that you wanted to explore, Aquarius. I'm here for you to support you in life this week. Thank you so much for supporting me through watching this video, through liking, sharing, and subscribing. It's wonderful to be here with you on YouTube, and I look forward to coming to you from America with my astro weather reports in the future. Thank you, and God bless you all.